and you must respect it, is that you send that short put away from this house.
Mama, I can't do that.
At all.
Papa, talk to Mama. Why is he trying to put Sansan in my garri?
Sansan don't fool your garri already. Sansan don't fool your garri already. Why would she be a good girl when she has seen fine bobo? Fine bobo chukukula. Waiting him now for mwemopata.
Do you know Oha soup?
I would prefer.
Did you make Oba too?
What?
Oba.
Say Oba. Oba.
Good morning, viewers. It's another beautiful Saturday right here on OY Media Scotland. Thanks for joining us today. And of course, today we will be hosting one of the great Son of the Soil. In our place, they call it Son of the Soil. And that's none other than Mr. Alfred Komolafe. He's the 4th District Commissioner, Social Development Commission in Wisconsin, in the United States. You might get all those mentioning, but he is from Ibadan in Oyo State. You are most welcome on the program, Mr. Komolafe.
Thank you so much for having me.
Right. Kicking off, we've had people use several titles for you. We've got Mr. because the one you sent to me, you just put simply Mr. Alfred Komolafe. But on some of your pages, I've seen people put in as doctor, some has put in as honorable, and of course, we've got the commissioner. So, are there stories behind this?
Yeah, I'm a simple man. I like simplicity, so that's why I usually go by just Mr. and I prefer that. So there are stories behind it, but it's been a long way. Let me just say that it's been a long way coming all the way from Nigeria and getting to where I am now. By the grace of God, it has been a long way. So growing up was not easy, just like a regular child in Nigeria. I wasn't born with a silver spoon. I wasn't born into a rich family or even middle class. So, but today I can say thank God. So it's been a long way.
Okay, thank you very much for that. And of course, that is where we are actually going to start to kick off this interview from. So, but first of all, let me first congratulate you on behalf of myself and of course the management of OY Media Scotland for your 50th birthday.
Thank you.
In our language, they will say, "Igba odun, bi odun kanin." May you enjoy, continue to enjoy God's favor, and may you have many wonderful, gracious, and prosperous returns.
Amen. Thank you so much.
Right. So, you talk about growing up.
Yes.
And we'll be looking at 50 years back, 50 years. What was Nigeria like? What was it growing up like then compared to what we have today?
I would say growing up, first of all, I want to thank God and thank my mom, my late mom. Um, she did a wonderful job. We lost our dad when I was 3 years old, and then 5 of us, my mom alone, took care of us, brought us up, and through the grace of God, we are all what we are today. So, like I said earlier when I started, it's been a long way. And, growing up 50 years ago is quite different from what we have right now. And there's a popular saying in Nigeria that say it takes a community to raise a child. And that's exactly how it was then. But right now, I don't think it is right now. Thank God for technology. Like I usually tell people, technology has its own advantage and its own disadvantages. I'll give an example. Like some people, we are friends on Facebook. We are linked up in LinkedIn. We are in so many platforms together on WhatsApp, and we chat on this social media. But when we see physically, it's hard for few people to even say hello. It's hard. But then when you come to social media, you start shouting. So, 50 years ago, it was a community. The whole community raises a child. When we come back from church, from school, my mom will probably still be at work, but the community, the other elders in the compound, they take care of you even before your child comes. Sometimes, we will sleep over at our neighbor's house. Then when mom comes, she will come and get us. And when we do something bad, they didn't have to wait for mom to come. They will discipline us. So growing up 50 years ago was quite different. And I think those of us in this age bracket, that's one of the advantages we have. And that's why when anywhere we go around the world, we strive and we travel. I mean, we come forth forcefully because the background we had was very, very solid.
Right. Thank you very much. In comparison to what we have now, would you consider that people that were trained those years, they were trained hard and to withstand anything and everything compared to the new generation?
It's I wouldn't know how to compare both because, like I said, both has advantage and disadvantage. I was telling somebody a few weeks back while I was in Nigeria, like 2 weeks ago, I was telling somebody that look, I appreciate this technological age. At the same time, its disadvantages are enormous. Like one of the advantages I see is that I told the person that when I was young, I used to help a man write a letter to his brother, immediate senior brother in England. Almost every month I will write a letter, but we never received the response from this brother. The man will tell me what to write. Ẹ̀gbọ́n mi ọ̀wọ́n, ṣé àlàáfíà ni wà gẹ́gẹ́ bí àwa náà ṣe wà nísìnyí. I said, it's always ẹ̀gbọ́n mi ọ̀wọ́n. I never saw àbúrò mi ọ̀wọ́n. And then it took weeks, months to get a letter. So, but these days, if I want to send you are in Scotland, if I want to send you an email, instantly you will see it. I don't have to wait for weeks and started writing my brother one and this. No. So comparing both will be an equaling tax. Both has advantages and disadvantages. But what I tell people is people should make use of the advantages of this technological age rather than the disadvantages.
Okay, thank you. And before we leave that aspect, let's look into what government or governance was in those days regarding their contribution and their impact into the life of a growing child in Nigeria. So between then, 50 years ago, and what we have now, what sort of comparison could you give relative to government contribution to the development of a Nigerian child?
Education 50 years ago, comparing to now, it's a very sad one. Those days, the education was very, very important. It's still important now, but the way education was being run in our dear nation 50 years ago has gone down. The standard and the commitment is nothing to write home about this thing. those days you hardly see private schools. It's public school. Public schools were the best. Any private school you see, you couldn't compare with public school. All our majority of our leaders now, I would say 90% of them came out from were the product of public schools. We enjoyed everything. Even though the education was free, the free education. There was a song we usually sing back then. Free education. Let me sing it the way we sang it then. Free education. Jaconde schools. We all those things were some of the things that baked us. And I would say that the government have a lot to do, redeeming back the quality of education, especially public education that we have now. I commend the owners of private schools because they are helping our educational system. But most of these private schools are not well regulated by the government. They just do what they like. The curriculums, some of them are not standard. They are not. So they do what they like. And the most painful thing is that their fees and their charges are too outrageous. So there's a need to bring back the public school. There's a need to bring back the glory and the standard as it was 50 years ago.
Right. Thank you. Just before I release you on this segment, before we go on a shorter break, I still want you to cast your mind back into what the society was 50 years ago. As at that time when you were growing up, did you add a sort of an aspiration to get into a leadership position, or you just allow what's happening around to push you forward?
Oh, thank you so much. While growing up, every child has his or her own dream, what he or she would like to be growing up. Let me speak of myself. Growing up, I never anticipated that I would be in politics or I will be in leadership position. I just wanted to be a successful person. I saw people that were successful, that were doing great. So I yearned to be successful in life. At first, when I was in high school, secondary school, I was a science student. So at first, I wanted to be a medical doctor, but that couldn't be. I changed. Then I switched to, I want to be a chemical engineer. But again, I switched. So by accident, I found myself in political science. And right now, I'm a political scientist and a public official and a politician. But I would say that's destiny.
Okay, that's great. Viewers, we're still right on our program celebrating Alfred Komolafe at 50. We'll go for a shorter break now. And when we come back, we'll continue with the interview. So please do stay on with us and do share with others.
Tuntun tó ń bọ̀ lọ́nà yìí. Bàbá jọ ṣojú ẹ̀mí wá. Àdó tuntun tó ń bọ̀ lọ́nà yìí. Kí lẹ wí? Bàbá jọ ṣojú ẹ̀mí wá. Káboyún ilé kan bìtìbìtì rẹ̀. Káwọn oníṣòwò kan máa rere ọjà. Àwa tá ti bí káìsàn má ṣe wọ́n. Bàbá jọ ṣojú ẹ̀mí wá. December tó ń bọ̀ lọ́nà yìí kò ní díwà mẹ́rù lọ. December tó ń bọ̀ lọ́nà yìí kò ní díwà mẹ́rù lọ. Kò ní díwà mẹ́rù lọ. Kò ní díwà mẹ́rù lọ iye tèmi. December tó ń bọ̀ lọ́nà yìí kò ní dí wa mẹ́rù lọ. Gbogbo ẹyẹ lólùfẹ́ Jẹ́gẹ́dẹ́ Ṣẹ̀kẹ̀rẹ̀, àjọ máa ṣe ní dandan.
wetin yem n'afọ mgbe m mụpụta.
Do you know Oha soup?
I would prefer.
Did you make Ogba too?
What?
Ogba.
Say Uba. Uba.
Right, welcome back and thanks for staying on with us. I'm still with Dr. Honorable Mr., like he said, Alfred Komolafe. He's the 4th District Commissioner, Social Development Commission in Wisconsin, United States. And of course, he's also the founder and the CEO of Alfred Komolafe Educational Foundation. In this segment, we will be talking about how you were able to step into politics in the United States. Many people believe that coming from Nigeria or part of Africa, of course, Africa is the greatest. Africa has many things when you talk about natural resources, when you talk about human resources, but majority of the people believe that because of some of the obstacles that people have experienced in Africa, when they move into another region, there seems to be a sort of self-doubt in taking up leadership position or putting themselves forward for public service in those countries, especially the countries that are regarded to be developed more than Nigeria. So your journey in United States, how were you able to get into public office? In the last segment, you did mention about some aspirations you had while you were in Nigeria. But when you moved into the United States, did you have a deliberate, you took deliberate steps to get to where you are, or it's something that happens along your way from school, then finding your way in some of the leadership and public positions?
All right, thank you so much. I will say again that getting into politics in the United States, I would say it's by destiny. God ordained it, because when I came into this country, I didn't plan into going into politics, but after 1 year I got in here. I went to some events and I observed how I observed a little bit about how politics is being run here in the United States, and I got interested. I wanted to know more how politics is being run here. I discovered that it was completely different from how it's being run in Nigeria. So that aroused my interest. So I started attending a few events here and there. I started linking up, although it wasn't easy, because then I had a very strong accent. I still have an accent now anyway, but then it was very, very strong, extremely strong. So it wasn't easy, but through the help of God, I started breaking in. I started making some connections here and there. And the whole thing is story by today.
Okay, thank you. For people, other people that might be looking at going the similar path you tread. I know that you talk about destiny, but also you took steps, just like you've said. So there's destiny, there's also what we call responsibilities, taking action. Go.
Right.
So what would be your advice for other people that may be thinking of getting involved in similar positions, or as a public servant, or probably in politics in developed countries? What would be your advice to them?
Okay, thank you. It's very simple. I always tell people that politics in the United States, to get involved in politics in the United States, is not a rocket science. No, it's not a rocket science. You just have to, first of all, you have to have the mind that if you want to go into politics, that you are not going in there to become a rich man. You are going in to serve. So politics in Nigeria is way different from Nigeria. Yeah, I mean, sorry, politics in the United States is way different from Nigeria. So if you want to go into politics in the United States with the aim of becoming a millionaire or enriching yourself, you end up in jail. That's number one. So don't even go there if you don't have the mind to serve. That's the first and foremost. That's the most important thing. You must have the mind that you are going to serve and not to enrich yourself. Then secondly, like I said earlier, politics in the United States is not a rocket science. So once you go in and you link up, the next thing is that politics in the United States, unlike our country, you don't have to reach. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to have some any money. You don't have to have huge bank account. No, you just have to know what you're doing. You have to know what you stand for, and you have to believe in yourself. You have to be your self-confidence have to be very solid, because there will be some people that will bring you down. There will be some people that will talk you down. That, oh, you came from Africa, you come from Africa, go and do politics in Africa. You know, there are all sorts of those things. So your self-confidence have to be so, have to be 100%. You have to believe in yourself. So then the most important thing is that after you've taken those two steps, you have a willing heart to serve, not to enrich yourself. Your self-confidence is 100%. Then the last thing is get involved. Get involved. They will not come to you in your house or in your apartment or in your mansion. You have to go out there, get involved, especially during a major election. It could be city election, it could be county election, it could be state election, it could be national election. Get involved. So during election, look for candidates or political party that you that that goes along with your beliefs and what you stand for. So get involved. Go to them, volunteer, knock on door, make phone calls, just get involved, and that's where it starts from. So it's not a rocket science.
Right, great. I think one very important thing you pick right on there is people going out to volunteer, whether politics or public life or some other forms of activities or other forms of activities that could push people out there is people going to volunteer. I've had people mention this before that, oh, I can't work for free. I mean, even if those people don't have employment, they would rather sit in the house and complain rather than going out to volunteer with some of these organizations and thereby paving way for themselves and getting people to know them as well. Thank you very much. I will.
Let me say something. Let me say something real quick on that before we leave that segment. You said something that is very important about people say they don't want to work free. One of my first real involvement in politics, I volunteered for like 3-4 months, free of charge, and I was doing my master's degree at that time. And how did that happen? I was driving through one time through a major way, and I saw a signboard that says a campaign headquarters for the then governor. He was running for to be the governor of Illinois State, and I drove through his headquarters then, and I looked. So I drove past, then I turned back, and I went into the place, and I met just the office administrator there. She was there alone. It was around noon, and I said, "Okay, I'm a student of University of Illinois Springfield. I'm studying political science, and I'm a graduate student. I would like to volunteer for this campaign. And that was it. She said, okay, bring your resume the next day. And I took my resume in there. She interviewed me, and that was how it started. And I volunteered there 3 to 4 months without taking a dime. And guess what? After we won, after the election, I was given a political appointment. The very first political appointment, and a very top position. You imagine, as at that time, I had never been a supervisor in US. I was just working randomly and doing my master's degree. But the political appointment I was given was extremely, extremely high. And, that was how it started from.
Okay, that's great, and I hope people are learning from that. And of course, from our earlier discussion this morning, we also mentioned about role models where people could see others and be able to see how they are paving way beyond what is called money politics back home. On this segment, I will bring up this video, then I'll follow it up with some questions.
I, Alfred Komolafe, who have been elected to the office of
Apologies, the audio seems to be quite very low.
District Court for a term expiring for a term expiring April 1st, 2024, but have not entered upon the duties thereof. Swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin, and I will faithfully discharge the duties of said office to the best of my ability. So help me God. All right.
Good, congratulations.
Right. So that was you taking the oath of office as the 4th District Commissioner. How was this for you?
I must tell you, it was a very defining moment. It was a moment I will never forget. Affirming to support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state of Wisconsin officially was a rare privilege, and I really thank God for that. It was a defining moment, a moment I will never forget.
Right, great. And this was just in August this year.
Yes, this was just last August.
Last August this year. And if you look back from the time you got involved in politics, in the United States, that would be like how many years before then and this one?
I got involved. I started active politics in the United States in 2011. And between 2011 and now, I've had 2 political appointments, and then this is my first elected position.
Okay, so we're talking about 10 years.
Yes.
Right. And it's just also sending out that message, which you've mentioned earlier, that it doesn't just happen like that. People need to put in their efforts. And of course, we know that in Africa, we pray quite a lot. And we are quite religious. We believe God's intervention, but also it's just saying that we don't just sit down there. We have to take the right steps as guided. We will be heading to another short ad break now. And when we come back, we'll be looking at your educational foundation. But before I leave you, before we end this segment, I want you to, I don't know whether I will call it as a word for the politicians in Nigeria or people that are aspiring, because we found out that over maybe 20, 30 years, we do have people who have lived in developed countries like United States, Canada, of course here in the United Kingdom and other parts of Europe. They've seen the way politics is played. You mentioned something If you want to get into politics in the United States and you're thinking about making money, then you should be ready for jail. But the same people who have been in this system that are from home, when they go back to participate in active politics in Nigeria and other parts of Africa, we'll find out that it seems that what they've picked up from here, they end up just pushing those things by the way instead of using those experiences to benefit the country, just the way people like Awolowo, Nkrumah, and co, who came to study in developed countries and then they went back to their countries to bring in development. But then we see that it's not happening that same way with some of our people that have even lived long here and who went back home to take part in active politics. They are not taking that quality of public service back home to change the system back home. So just a brief of words to people, whether those people that are here that are thinking about that or those people that are home that are watching this program or may watch this program later.
Okay, thank you so much. The very first thing I would like to say and emphasize on is that is the word consequences. You know, the United States or the West is not a perfect system,
Sure.
but the thing is that everyone knows that if I do this, there's a consequences for that. You know, you can't go free. If you break the law, whoever you are, you will face the consequences. I'll give you an example. The former governor of Illinois State, Governor Rod Blagojevich,
Yes.
he was the incumbent, right? He was on seat, but he was involved in some activities that were not legal, and some, the thing is, on a very Monday morning, FBI went to his house. He was arrested. He was handcuffed, arrested. The House of Assembly impeached him, and he was prosecuted, and he was sent to jail. 14 years imprisonment. A sitting governor. So the thing is, back home in Nigeria, people, like you mentioned, people are here. They follow the law. They obey the law because they know that there are consequences if they break the law. But when they go back home, they tend to do whatever they like because they know that there are no consequences. Nobody can can even look up to them. When people break law in Nigeria, masses will even clap for you. They will even hail you. So that's why people are getting away with what they are doing. So the very first thing that will turn Nigeria around is a strong legislation that will bring up, that will be strong enough that whoever breaks the law will face the consequences. Whoever, be it governor, be it senator, whoever, be it cleaner, be it driver, whoever. So that's where it starts from. People do what they like because they know there is no consequences. But here, whoever you are, you face the consequences. If I run through the red light now, and in about a week or so, I found $100 in my mailbox, nobody will teach me next time not to run through red light. So that's where it starts from.
Right, and that's the word consequences. When there are strong institutions and people follow procedures, then everybody will sit up. Thank you very much. Honorable Alfred Komolafe, the 4th District Commissioner for Social Development. Commissioners will concern United States. We're still right on with you, and we'll go for a shorter break now. Viewers, do stay on with us. We will be back after this short heartbreak.
Send down your spirit in our midst. We have been thirsty of your presence. Let our power flow in this place. Holy Spirit, máa kọ̀ mí sílẹ̀ o.
Ẹ̀mí mímọ́ máa kọ̀ mí sílẹ̀.
Never forsake.
Ẹ̀mí Ọlọ́run dákun máa kọ̀ mí. Wo bí mo ti ṣe nílé rẹ̀ máa kọ̀ mí o.
Máa kọ̀ mí.
Ilé rẹ̀ dùn mọ́ mi yeye má ṣe kọ̀ mí.
Mighty oníṣègùn làwa ní Jésù àbánidáró. Ọ̀rọ̀ rẹ̀ mú ní láradá ni a gbọ́ ohùn ti Jésù.
Ìró dídùn lórí ìṣẹ́ra. Orúkọ dídùn ní ahọ́n.
Orúkọ dídùn ní ahọ́n.
Orin tó dùn lọ ní Jésù.
And you must respect it, is that you send that short put away from this house.
Mama, I can't do that.
At all.
Papa, talk to Mama. Why is he trying to put Sansan in my garri?
Sansan don't fool your garri already. Sansan don't fool your garri already. Why would she be a good girl when she has seen fine bobo? Fine bobo chukukula. Waiting him now for mwemo papa.
Do you know her soup?
I would prefer.
Did you make Oba too?
What?
Oba.
Say Uba. Uba.
Right, welcome to the last segment of the interview. I am still with Honorable Alfred Komolafe. Is the 4th District Commissioner and, of course, the founder and the CEO of Alfred Komolafe Educational Foundation. And that's the part we will be dealing with that at this moment. And welcome back, Dr. Komolafe. So permit me, times I refer to you as doctor, times I refer to you as honorable. So whichever one, just take that for me. I'm going to pick this piece, but before then, we've got a comment. Unfortunately, I think people have to agree to have their name out on Facebook. Otherwise, the system will just show it as Facebook user. And this is from Sophia Adeyeye. It said, "We need strong institution in Nigeria. Thank you, Honorable Commissioner." And is being with us. So thank you very much, Sophia Adeyeye, for that brilliant comment. And so moving on, I want to play this video from TVC News.
Laido Yewole was at a forum in Ibadan where experts sat to outline measures by which this can be achieved.
In 2021, a sum of 742.5 billion naira out of the total 11.7 trillion naira was earmarked for the education sector. That is about 6.3% of the total budget, out of which 615.1 billion was proposed to go into the recurrent expenditure of the ministry. In this regard, educationists at this event do not just believe that more funding should be provided for education. They want the STEM model to become the center of learning in the nation's education system.
Proponents of this educational ideology believe that emphasizing the science is beneficial to the growth of society and work. But the only way the students can hope to measure with other countries, especially advanced countries in development, is by concentrating on the sciences in a world now driven by science and technology. To reduce unemployment and poverty and a high standard of living in this technological age, governments, both at the federal and state level, must provide a good stimulus for a pragmatic science and technology education. Therefore, as a matter of urgency, both federal and state legislators must appropriate special funding for STEM education in Nigeria.
Also emphasized was the need for increased involvement of the private sector to improve pedagogic, technical, and management skills across all levels of education.
So we need to encourage more diasporans wherever you are. So far you were born in Oyo State or raised in Oyo State, or your parents are from Oyo State, or you lived through Oyo State at any point in time. We need you to come back.
Parents are major stakeholders. The only way or the easiest method to reach the parents are one, through jingles, radio and television jingles, to encourage parents that they should not just leave their children to the care of teachers alone. Parents too must be involved.
Educationists at this event believe that laying more emphasis on the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics education will create skills that will be beneficial to solving future problems. Oladio Yewole, TVC News, Ibadan.
Right. That was yourself in the recently concluded session or seminar that you had, which actually focused on education. Now, I was reading through your brief, and I don't think I will allow this to go because I picked about 3 or 4 areas where you are concentrated, and I found that there are areas that are very extremely important if a nation is going to get it at all. For instance, if we take it from you are the 4th District Commissioner at Social Development Commission. So social development is something that is extremely important for any country. And of course, you are also the CEO and founder of Alfred Komolafe Educational Foundation, in which you are projecting STEM, that is science-based courses. And of course, you've also been a senior public administrator at Illinois Department of Human Services. And you've also been involved in charity. You are still involved, but then you are the former founding president of Amnesty International. So when I look at those 4 areas, I just looked at, okay, these are actually the areas that we need to focus when it has to deal with social development. You have to deal with education. You have to deal with Amnesty International. We know what they do. And of course, human resources management. So bringing us right now back to this conference, ACEF, Alfred Komolafe Educational Foundation, was set up in 2015, I believe.
Yes.
And the purpose was to promote education within the Nigerian space.
Yes.
Around 2015 or 2016, because I was checking through some of your profiles, I remember that I brought up a topic, and which I think it was one of your areas while I was discussing about students' loan and student agency, award agency, which are institutions that funds education, and then the student repay it after they start employment and co. And it's one of the areas you've been saying that the government needs to do more in ensuring, some people could have the money to go to private universities and co, but for even the public one, there has to be quality education. You mentioned earlier that most of the leaders we have today in Nigeria that are in political office, or even the majority of them in the public office as well, they are they attended public institutions.
Yes, that's true.
Years back. So that means they are worse quality in that institution, which we no longer have today. So let's kick it off from that agitation for government to not just, because every time we hear budgets and budgeting, government allocate so billions into education, but then we are not seeing any outcomes.
Right.
We are not seeing the impact of that fund. And this is one area you've been pushing, that government needs to get more involved
Right.
in funding education, and not just funding education, but being also able to monitor the outcomes of the fundings that are, that are being injected into education. So I'll take you on from there, that apart from the approach that is being used now, what are the sort of maybe alternative approaches that could be put in place to ensure that the funding by the government, let's say the government decides to increase funding into education, are we going to make sure that those funding gets to those who needs it, and we're able to measure the outcome?
Okay. Thank you so much. The starting point um, will be, like you said, increasing the funding is one of the is the first thing, but making sure that the funds and the monies allocated to education gets to where it should be is a major problem. And that's one of our problems in Nigeria. There are too much wastages in the government in Nigeria, too much wastages, to the extent that any funding that is appropriated to a project, probably like 80% would have been spent on things that are not directly related to that project. And that's the problem we are having. Wastages, it's too much. So the first thing, then secondly, we need to reevaluate some of our educational agencies and institutions. Which one are working, which one are still working, which one are not working, which one do we need to scrap, then which one we need to bring up. The world has changed. 50 years ago, things were not like how they were today. Things have changed. So some institutions that were established 50 years ago are no longer relevant at this age. And government is still pumping money into that agency. And they know that things are not working, but because they don't care, but they keep pumping money into institution that has been outdated, that is not working, and they knew it. So these are part of the problems. So one of the most important things we need to do as a matter of urgency is to reevaluate some of our educational agencies. Which one we need to scrap? Which one is working? Which one is not working? Which one we need to establish? And if we are able to do that, then that's where we start from.
Okay, thank you very much. You also propose the involvement of private individuals or the private sector in education. We already know that Nigeria is actually growing very, very fast with the establishment of private universities and co. Apart from setting up private universities, where the private investors obviously are charging enormous fees. In what way could the private sector or the private people invest in education in Nigeria, where where a quality education would be provided for people that are not like children of millionaires or billionaires in Nigeria?
Yeah, the major problem, like I will go back to what we said before and what one of the viewers commented, Dr. Adeyeye. We need to have a strong institution. Without that, we are going nowhere. And the private institution, private schools and private investors in education, they're doing great job and they are helping our educational system. But without a proper and standard regulation from the government, some of them will just be doing what they are doing. What they like, and there won't be consequences. So if government have to regulate these private institutions, private schools, private investors, then the government himself has to be strong and solid. You know, where in a situation where you have a government agency going to inspect a private schools, and before the government officials get there, a brown envelope is already waiting for him or her. They will not do the proper things they ought to do at that school, and so as a result, the school can just do whatever they like. So I will go back to what we said before. There's a need for us, as a matter of urgency, to establish a strong institution. That's where it starts from.
Okay, thank you very much. And I'll bring us right to this other video as well. And I believe this was part of the conference that you recently had.
It is an honor to launch this inaugural annual UTME STEM Clinic. Our core belief is that the cause of slow industrial growth lies in insufficient emphasis on scientific and technological education. The UTME STEM Clinic programs will provide intervention in 3 crucial areas. Firstly, provision of free extracurriculum classes for 6 months in preparation for UTME exams. Secondly, familiarizing students with taking the UTME test online. The majority of these students do not have personal computers, so expecting them to perform well without preparing them for online examination would be an Herculean task. So thirdly, provision of free JAM form for those that actually need it. Evidence worldwide show that the public investment in STEM subjects can advance nations toward a strong economy, a healthy population, and a sustainable environment. Sadly, again, our country has fallen behind in STEM education compared to other countries, and STEM programs are still not well funded and prioritized in our schools. However, a prevalence of good quality and applied science and technological knowledge will certainly turn our economy around, increase the GDP level, and catapult Nigeria into an economic hub and first world country like Singapore.
Okay, that's great. So that was in that video you roll out your own intervention through the archive, Alfred Komolafe Educational Foundation, and of course also mentioning some very, very important thing for the country to do in order to push up development. And I believe that most of these things you're getting up to intervene must have been maybe a result of many years looking at the way things are going back at home. And did you attend Bishop Phillips?
No,
Academy?
no, I didn't.
So you just chose that place as the venue for the.
Yeah, the Bishop Phillips was just a venue for the launching of the program. Actually, the students that we picked are from our local government.
Okay.
So we got the Bishop Phillips was just a venue for the launching.
For the launching, okay.
Yeah.
So, and of course, you have things in place to ensure, because you mentioned something which is very, very important, that ensuring that you get this intervention to those who need it, because I think that's one of the key thing, especially when things are being done, that
Right.
it gets to those who need it.
Right.
Because for what we have at home now, even a millionaire will tell you that he or she needs something. So,
Exactly.
but it's just actually getting right down to those people who have no option, that
Right.
without that intervention, they might not be able to do, might not be able to push forward. Now you have these core, you you place this core value on STEM subjects. Could you give us more explanation about it?
Okay. With with due respect to non-science student, non-STEM students, we did. I mean, you will know the age we are now. It's it's uh it's a technological age, and so STEM subjects is extremely important in this age and in the future. Who knows where the world will be in the next 20 years from now? 20 years ago, we didn't have privilege of having this live video, or nobody even imagined that we'll come to the what we are doing, what we are experiencing presently in a technological world. 20 years ago, nobody knew that we will be in this age. So, looking at the future, we need to prepare students that will launch Nigeria, especially into advanced world. And if we need to launch Nigeria into advanced world, STEM is extremely important. We cannot overemphasize that. STEM will mostly everything now is about STEM. So there's a need to introduce students into STEM subject and to be a STEM student as early as possible. So this program is just the first segment. We have other things that we'll be doing that that will introduce students right from the kindergarten to primary school to secondary school and then to the universities level. So we have all those in places. So we are just bringing them out little by little. So like STEM is extremely important in this age, and we need to take advantage of that and emphasize on it.
Okay, thank you very much. I think one of the, if I say that, that's one of the photographs that was taken during the events. And but just to ask, do people have to apply for this intervention?
Um, right now, because this is the first time we're doing it, so we went through Tescom and Subeb. So those are two. Those are one of the two agencies, educational agencies, state agencies in Oyo State. So we went through them. We told them we wanted students who cannot afford extra curriculum classes, and so Tescom and Subeb, they gave us some students from different schools. So what we're doing right now is that we are giving them extra curriculum classes every Saturday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And we started this about 8 weeks ago, and it's going to run all through the time they will be writing their UTME examination. That's JAM exam. And then one important aspect about this program is that we discovered that some of the students are not familiar with computers or with laptop, or how to do online tests, and they were not even offered in their schools, and then we expect them to go and write the JAM exam online for the very first time. So, I mean, obviously, if they have 3 hours to write the test, they will probably use like 2 hours to figure out how to even undo computers. That's if they can even do that. So, in this program, like maybe like 2 months before the exams, we will release. They will sit down one on one on computer. the teachers and those who are helping them, they will take them through, teach them through how to take this test online with past questions and everything for 2 months. So that's one of the importance of this program. So students don't need to apply for now. We went through TESCOM and SUBEB. They give us students, and then we also interview those students ourselves to know that they really need it, because some parents, some students, their parents can afford extra curriculum classes for their kids. We don't need them. We need those students whose parents cannot afford extra curriculum classes.
Okay, thank you very much. And if people want to get in contact with you, okay, I'll come back to that. Now, Bassam, that is the senior assistant to the Oyo State Governor on diaspora matters, was at the program.
Yes.
We've tried to reach her as well, but then obviously, yeah, she's quite a very, very busy person.
Yeah, she's extremely busy.
Yes. So, and which I think is quite good that we're having government representatives in events like this. At least that means the government is just like the presence of the government.
Yes.
And of course, to what the government, whether it's going to gear up the government as well to wake up to the part of their responsibility that might still be lacking or not enough. And but in terms of the Oyo State government and support, how easy were you able to navigate your way? I know that both the state government, I read some of the briefs, even with the federal government, you've tried to push some actions to make things better. How easy have you been able to find that, and specific to Oyo State government as well?
I must highly recommend the Oyo State government. They didn't give us any hard time. They welcomed the idea, they loved the idea, and they were ready to partner and promote the idea with us. So we had a couple of government representatives, which showed that they are willing. We had a special assistant to the governor. We had a representative of the commissioner for education. The commissioner himself was to be there, but he had an prior event that he had committed himself to, so that was why he couldn't come. But he sent a very senior official at the Ministry of Education, so he was there. Then we had a chairman of Oyo State Pace Setter Transportation. We had him also. We had a permanent secretary for TESCOM. Then we had the executive secretary for SUBEB, and then we had a couple of other government officials. So this showed that they are willing, to help and come on board in this important program. So I must commend them, and then most importantly, I must commend Governor Seyi Makinde for his education, for what he's doing in education sector. Is really making wave, and is helping students to achieve their purpose. So the picture you're seeing there is one of the Saturday classes, not the launching. This is one of the classes on Saturday. This is probably mathematics class. So, and we are grateful to the school authority that allowed us to use their facilities.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much for that. Just so now back to the question I was going to ask before. If people want to get involved, I mean, is Alfred Komolafe Educational Foundation? So if people want to get involved one way or the other, what's the best route?
The best route to get involved is, like I said, this program is not for everybody. It's for those who actually needs it. So the thing we are doing right now is going through government agencies. Pretty soon, we are going to have our own internal system whereby we will will be able to choose our students, those who actually need it. So we will reach out to them. Trust me, because when I establish a CAF, my main objective is to bridge the gap between public school and private school. Private schools and there's so many things they are enjoying, but public school, they are being deprived of so many things. So my main primary objective of establishing a CAF is to bridge that gap. So we're going to get to this student where they are, wherever they are, in the slum, in the rural area. We will get to them and we'll feed them out and bring them into this program.
Right, thank you. Let me just reframe that question again. If we have people that actually want to get involved, that wants to contribute to what you are doing, because some will see it and say, "Oh, we like what we are doing," and instead of them, they may not have the energy to set up a foundation. So they may want to partner with your organization and others. So how could they get involved?
Yeah,
Or how could they get in touch?
They should just they can get through us or through me. They can get to me or to through the email alfredkomolafe@gmail.com. That's the best way to get me for now. We have a website, but it's down for now. So in few weeks we'll bring the website up, and then everything will be there. But for now, they can get to me through alfredkomolafe@gmail.com.
Okay, thank you very much. For our viewers, and that is Alfred Komolafe, Honorable Commissioner, that's the 4th District Commissioner for the Social Development Commission in Wisconsin, United States. He's also the CEO and founder of Alfred Komolafe Educational Foundation. That's operational now in Oyo State, gradually or within Onara, right at the start right now. So, and it's our prayers that it will grow and you'll be able to impact more lives, and which is really what life is about, impacting other lives, giving other people the opportunity, especially maybe some that we ourselves did not have. So thank you very much for coming on the program.
Thank you.
We'd always like to give our guests like a parting word for the people that are watching or that will watch this program later. So over to you, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me on this program. So I would like to leave this word that while I was at the program in Ibadan and I was looking at those students, it is my prayer and my hope and my belief that one day most of those students will grow up to be leaders in different parts of the world and in Nigeria as well. So that's my aim, that's my aspiration, and that's my prayer.
Okay. Thank you very much. And once again, we want to wish you happy 50th birthday.
Thank you so much.
I like that Yoruba part that says, "Igbodun bi odun kan."
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Grow in strength. May you grow in energy. And may what you started, you've started impacting into lives, may it go to greater heights.
Amen.
And may God Almighty also send you helping hands to perfect that which He has called you onto. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much
for joining us today. So
it's a pleasure.
Yes, and thank you very much for all our listeners. I've got, I think that is, you said that's Dr. Sophia Adeyeye. Do I get that right?
Yes.
Yeah, so she's also wishing you happy birthday. Right.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And let me just say something quickly about her. She is she's a program coordinator. So everything at the launching, she did everything A to Z. So I must commend her. We thank her and we appreciate her so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Sophia Adeyeye. We'll keep track of the development as things are going on, and once we have your words and you are available for us, we'll always like to get you back in so that we can discuss further, and
Yes.
then other people also could pick from what you're doing and in other ways in which they can contribute.
Thank you so much. That
So
will be a pleasure.
you are most welcome, and do enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you so much. It's a privilege being here this morning. Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.
Welcome.
The UTME STEM Clinic programs will provide intervention in 3 crucial areas. Firstly, provision of free extracurricular classes for 6 months in preparation for UTME exams. Secondly, familiarizing students with taking the UTME test online. The majority of these students do not have personal computers, so expecting them to perform well without preparing them for online examination would be an Herculean task. So thirdly, provision of free JAM form for those that actually need it. Evidence worldwide show that the public investment in STEM subjects can advance nations toward a strong economy, a healthy population, and a sustainable environment. Sadly, again, our country has fallen behind in STEM education compared to other countries, and STEM programs are still not well funded and prioritized in our schools. However, a prevalence of good quality and applied science and technological knowledge could certainly turn our economy around, increase the GDP level, and catapult Nigeria into an economic hub and first world country like Singapore.
Right. Thank you very much for all our viewers, and many thanks again to Honorable Alfred Komolafe for coming on the program. Remember, we're back tomorrow at that Sunday at 6 p.m. So do stay tuned to us. Remember, the recorded version of this interview will be on our Facebook page as well as on our YouTube page. Just type in OY Media Scotland. You'll be right on there. So thank you all, and catch up tomorrow.
And you must respect it. Is that you send that short put away from this house.
Mama, I can't do that.
At all.
Papa, talk to Mama. Why is he trying to put Sansan in my garri?
Sansan don't fool your garri already. Sansan don't fool your garri already. Why would she be a good girl when she has seen fine bobo? Fine bobo chukukula. Waiting him now for mwemo.
Do you know her soup?
I would prefer.
Did you make Oba too?
What?
Oba.
Say Uba. Uba.